What if I told you that some of the most nutritious plants on Earth are growing freely in your backyard right now, and you've probably been pulling them out and throwing them away? These aren't invasive pests. They're ancient superfoods that have nourished human beings for thousands of years. Yet somewhere along the way, we forgot their true value. For generations, people have been told that these plants are worthless weeds. Lawn care companies have built entire businesses around eliminating them. But the truth is far more fascinating. Many of these so-called weeds contain more vitamins, minerals, and healing compounds than the vegetables we buy at the grocery store. Some contain more calcium than milk, others have more iron than spinach, and a few possess medicinal properties that modern science is only beginning to understand. Across cultures and continents, traditional healers and wise elders recognized the power of these plants. They harvested them for food and medicine. They passed down knowledge about which leaves to pick, which roots to dig, and when to gather them for maximum potency. That knowledge was never lost. It simply became forgotten in a world that favored lawns over wild gardens. But today, researchers are rediscovering what ancient wisdom always knew. These plants are not weeds, they are gifts. Today, you're going to discover 15 backyard weeds that are actually powerful superfoods. You'll learn which plants are safe to eat, what health benefits they provide, and how you can start using them in your everyday life. Some of these plants have been used medicinally for over 2,000 years. Others contain nutrients in concentrations that rival expensive supplements. And stay until number 12, because that plant contains more omega-3 fatty acids than many fish oils. By the end of this video, you'll never look at your backyard the same way again. Number 1. Let's begin with one of the most misunderstood plants in the world, the dandelion. For decades, dandelions have been treated as the enemy of pristine lawns. Billions of dollars have been spent trying to eliminate them. Yet the dandelion is one of the most nutritious plants you can possibly eat. Every part of the dandelion is edible. The leaves contain more vitamin A than carrots. The roots have been used in traditional medicine to support liver health and digestion, and the flowers can be transformed into tea, wine, or even a honey-like syrup. In medieval Europe, dandelions were cultivated in gardens specifically for food and medicine. Herbalists prescribed dandelion root tea to help the body eliminate toxins. The French still call dandelions pissenlit, which refers to their natural diuretic properties. Modern research has confirmed that dandelion leaves are indeed rich in potassium, which helps balance fluid levels in the body. You can harvest young dandelion leaves in early spring before they become bitter. Add them to salads or sauté them like spinach. The roots can be roasted and ground into a coffee substitute that's naturally caffeine-free. The dandelion isn't a weed. It's a pharmacy growing in your yard. Another plant that grows freely in gardens and sidewalk cracks is purslane. This low-growing succulent has thick, paddle-shaped leaves and small yellow flowers. Most people pull it out without a second thought, but purslane is considered one of the most nutrient-dense greens on the planet. Purslane contains more omega-3 fatty acids than almost any other leafy vegetable. These are the same beneficial fats found in fish oil, known for supporting heart health and reducing inflammation. It's also loaded with vitamins A, C, and E, along with magnesium and potassium. Ancient Greek physicians, including the legendary Hippocrates, used purslane to treat inflammation and digestive complaints. In traditional Chinese medicine, purslane has been prescribed for centuries to cool the body and clear heat-related conditions. The taste of purslane is mild, slightly tangy, and refreshing. You can eat it raw in salads, where its crunchy texture adds a pleasant contrast. It can also be lightly steamed or added to soups. In Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cuisines, purslane is still considered a delicacy, not a weed. Once you discover its nutritional profile, you'll want it growing everywhere. Number 3. If you've ever seen a tall, leafy plant with silvery green leaves growing wild in disturbed soil, you've likely encountered lamb's quarters. This plant is often mistaken for a generic weed, but it's actually a close relative of quinoa and spinach. Lamb's quarters contains more protein, calcium, iron, and vitamin A than cultivated spinach. In fact, indigenous peoples across North America relied on lamb's quarters as a staple food source long before European settlers arrived. The seeds were ground into flour. The leaves were cooked like greens. The name lamb's quarters comes from an Old English term, but the plant has been eaten by humans for thousands of years. Archaeologists have found lamb's quarters seeds in ancient settlements across Europe and Asia, suggesting it was cultivated and valued long before modern agriculture took over. The young leaves have a mild, spinach-like flavor. You can use them in any recipe that calls for cooked greens. Older leaves can become slightly bitter, so it's best to harvest them when they're young and tender. Some foragers even collect the seeds in late summer and use them like quinoa. This plant proves that nutrition doesn't always come from a grocery store. 4. Chickweed is a delicate plant with small white flowers and soft, oval leaves. It grows low to the ground and spreads across garden beds and shaded areas. Most gardeners see it as a nuisance, but chickweed has been used for centuries as both food and medicine. The entire plant is edible. It has a fresh, mild flavor similar to lettuce, with a subtle corn-like sweetness. Chickweed is rich in vitamin C and A, along with minerals like calcium, magnesium, and iron. Traditional herbalists often recommended chickweed poultices for soothing irritated skin, and it was brewed into tea to support respiratory health. In European folk medicine, chickweed was considered a cleansing herb. It was believed to help the body gently eliminate waste and reduce inflammation. Modern herbalists still use chickweed in teas and salves for its cooling and soothing properties. You can add fresh chickweed to salads, sandwiches, or smoothies. It's best harvested in the cooler months of spring and fall, when the leaves are most tender. Because it grows so abundantly, chickweed offers a continuous harvest throughout much of the year. What most people discard as a weed is actually a gentle, nourishing green that's been quietly supporting human health for generations. Not to be confused with the banana-like fruit, plantain is a common lawn weed with broad, ribbed leaves that grow in a rosette pattern close to the ground. It's incredibly resilient, thriving in compacted soil where other plants struggle, and it's been used medicinally for over 2,000 years. Plantain leaves contain compounds called mucilage and tannins, which have soothing and healing properties. Indigenous peoples across the world applied crushed plantain leaves to insect bites, stings, and minor wounds. In fact, plantain earned the nickname white man's footprint among Native Americans because it seemed to grow wherever European settlers traveled. The leaves are edible, though they can be tough and stringy when mature. Young plantain leaves are best used in soups or cooked dishes, but the real power of plantain lies in its medicinal use. A simple poultice made from chewed or crushed plantain leaves can provide relief from bee stings, poison ivy, and minor cuts. In medieval Europe, plantain was one of the 9 sacred herbs mentioned in old Anglo-Saxon texts. It was considered a healing ally, always available when needed. Even today, many herbalists keep dried plantain leaves on hand for making healing salves and teas. This humble weed has saved countless people from discomfort, quietly growing wherever it's needed most. If you're beginning to notice a pattern here, you're absolutely right. These aren't random weeds. They're plants that have adapted to grow near human activity because humans have relied on them for thousands of years. And the next plant might surprise you even more. Plant number 6. Wood sorrel is a small, clover-like plant with heart-shaped leaves and delicate yellow or white flowers. It grows in shaded areas, often beneath trees or along the edges of gardens. Many people mistake it for clover, but wood sorrel has a distinct, tangy flavor that sets it apart. That tartness comes from oxalic acid, the same compound found in rhubarb and spinach. In small amounts, oxalic acid is perfectly safe and gives wood sorrel a refreshing, lemony taste. The leaves are rich in vitamin C, which is why wood sorrel was historically used to prevent scurvy on long sea voyages. Native American tribes chewed wood sorrel leaves to quench thirst and soothe mouth sores. In Ireland, wood sorrel is sometimes called shamrock, and it was eaten during times of hardship as a valuable source of nutrition. The plant's ability to grow in poor soil made it a reliable food source when other crops failed. You can add a few wood sorrel leaves to salads for a citrusy kick, or use them as a garnish on soups and sandwiches. Some people brew the leaves into a refreshing cold tea. Just remember to enjoy wood sorrel in moderation, as large quantities of oxalic acid can interfere with calcium absorption. This tiny plant proves that powerful flavors and valuable nutrition often come in small packages. Speaking of clover, this familiar three-leaf plant is far more than a symbol of luck. Red clover and white clover both grow abundantly in lawns, fields, and meadows, and both have been used for food and medicine for centuries. Clover flowers are edible and can be dried to make a pleasant, mildly sweet tea. Red clover in particular has been used in traditional herbal medicine to support respiratory health and hormonal balance. It contains compounds called isoflavones, which are plant-based estrogens that may help ease certain symptoms associated with aging. Clover leaves are also edible, though they're best when young and tender. They can be added to salads or cooked like spinach. Indigenous peoples across North America ate clover as a green vegetable and used the flowers to sweeten other foods. What makes clover especially valuable is its ability to fix nitrogen in the soil. This means it actually improves the earth around it, making the ground more fertile for other plants. Farmers once planted clover intentionally as a cover crop to restore depleted farmland. It's a plant that gives back to the soil while nourishing the people who consume it. Red clover tea has a gentle, earthy flavor and a beautiful pinkish hue. It's caffeine-free and can be enjoyed any time of day. This common lawn plant is proof that nature often provides exactly what we need, right beneath our feet. Plant number 8. Mallow, also called common mallow or cheeseweed, is a hardy plant with round, scalloped leaves and small pink or purple flowers. It grows freely in disturbed soil, along roadsides, and in neglected garden corners. But mallow has a long and respected history as both food and medicine. Every part of the mallow plant is edible. The leaves have a mild, slightly mucilaginous texture, which makes them excellent for thickening soups and stews. The young seed pods, sometimes called cheeses because of their shape, can be eaten raw and have a pleasant, nutty flavor. Even the flowers are edible and add a decorative touch to salads. Mallow has been used medicinally for thousands of years. Ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans all valued mallow for its soothing properties. The plant contains mucilage, a gel-like substance that coats and calms irritated tissues. Mallow tea was traditionally used to ease sore throats, coughs, and digestive discomfort. In fact, the word marshmallow originally referred to a confection made from the roots of a related plant, Althea officinalis, which was used to soothe throat irritation. Modern marshmallows no longer contain mallow root, but the name remains as a reminder of the plant's long history. You can harvest young mallow leaves and use them like spinach. The flowers make a beautiful addition to herbal teas. This underappreciated plant offers nourishment, healing, and beauty all in one package. Now, this next plant requires a bit of caution. Stinging nettle is covered in tiny hairs that release irritating compounds when touched. The sting is sharp and uncomfortable, which is why most people avoid nettle entirely. But once you get past the sting, nettle is one of the most nutritious and medicinal plants you'll ever encounter. Nettle leaves are extraordinarily rich in vitamins and minerals. They contain high levels of iron, calcium, magnesium, and vitamins A, C, and K. Ounce for ounce, nettle provides more nutrition than most cultivated greens. It's also been used for centuries to support joint health, ease seasonal allergies, and promote overall vitality. The key to safely harvesting nettle is to wear gloves and long sleeves. Once the leaves are cooked or dried, the stinging hairs lose their potency and the plant becomes completely safe to eat. Nettle has a deep, earthy flavor similar to spinach, but richer. In traditional European medicine, nettle was a spring tonic. After the long winter months, people would harvest fresh nettle and cook it into soups to revitalize the body. Nettle tea is still widely consumed today for its mineral content and gentle detoxifying properties. You can blanch nettle leaves and use them in pasta dishes, soups, or pestos. Dried nettle makes an excellent herbal tea. This plant may defend itself with a sting, but it rewards those who approach it with respect and knowledge. If you're enjoying discovering these powerful plants that have been growing quietly around us all along, take a moment to like this video. It helps more people find this information and rediscover the forgotten wisdom that nature has always offered. Wild garlic, also called ramps or wild leeks, grows in shaded woodland areas and along stream banks. It has broad, smooth leaves and a distinct garlic aroma. If you crush a leaf and smell that unmistakable scent, you've found wild garlic. This plant has been foraged and celebrated for centuries. In Appalachian culture, wild garlic festivals mark the arrival of spring. The entire plant is edible, from the bulb to the leaves to the flowers. Wild garlic contains many of the same beneficial compounds found in cultivated garlic, including allicin, which has natural antimicrobial properties. Native American tribes used wild garlic as both food and medicine. It was eaten to support immune health, especially during the cold months. In Europe, wild garlic has been harvested since ancient times and is still considered a culinary delicacy. You can use wild garlic in any recipe that calls for regular garlic or onions. The flavor is milder and slightly sweeter than store-bought garlic. The leaves can be chopped into salads, blended into pesto, or sautéed with other greens. The bulbs can be pickled or roasted. If you're lucky enough to have wild garlic growing on your property, you've discovered a renewable source of flavor and nutrition. Just be sure to positively identify it before harvesting and leave some plants behind so they can continue to spread. Violets are among the most charming plants you'll find growing in shaded lawns and garden edges. Their heart-shaped leaves and delicate purple, white, or yellow flowers appear in early spring. Most people admire violets for their beauty, but these gentle plants are also completely edible and surprisingly nutritious. Violet leaves are high in vitamins A and C. The flowers contain compounds called anthocyanins, which give them their purple color and provide antioxidant benefits. Both the leaves and flowers have been used in traditional medicine to soothe respiratory issues and support skin health. In medieval Europe, violets were considered symbols of humility and peace. They were also valued for their medicinal properties. Violet syrup was given to children to ease coughs, and violet leaf poultices were applied to minor skin irritations. You can add fresh violet flowers to salads for a pop of color and a slightly sweet flavor. The leaves are best when young and can be eaten raw or cooked. Some people candy violet flowers by coating them in sugar, creating a beautiful and edible decoration for cakes and desserts. Violet tea, made from the leaves and flowers, has a delicate, soothing quality. This humble plant offers beauty, nutrition, and healing all at once. It's a reminder that some of the gentlest things in nature are also some of the most valuable. Plant number 12. Now let's return to a plant we mentioned earlier, because its nutritional profile deserves special attention. Purslane contains more omega-3 fatty acids than almost any other leafy green vegetable. In fact, it has higher levels of omega-3s than many fish oils. Omega-3 fatty acids are essential for heart health, brain function, and reducing inflammation throughout the body. Most people turn to expensive fish oil supplements to get these nutrients. But purslane offers a plant-based source that's completely free and growing wild in backyards everywhere. Research published in scientific journals has confirmed what traditional cultures always knew. Purslane is a nutritional powerhouse. It also contains melatonin, a compound that helps regulate sleep cycles, and glutathione, a powerful antioxidant that supports cellular health. Purslane grows aggressively during the warm months, which means you can harvest it continuously throughout the summer. The more you cut it, the more it grows. It's nature's way of providing abundance exactly when it's needed. If you've been pulling purslane out of your garden and tossing it aside, it's time to reconsider. This plant could be one of the most valuable sources of nutrition on your property. Plant number 13. Amaranth is a tall, striking plant with broad leaves and dramatic red or purple flower spikes. It often grows in fields, gardens, and disturbed areas. Many people think of amaranth as a grain crop, but the wild varieties that grow freely are just as nutritious. Amaranth leaves, also called callaloo in some cultures, are rich in protein, iron, calcium, and vitamins A and C. The seeds are tiny but packed with complete protein, meaning they contain all the essential amino acids the body needs. This made amaranth a staple food for ancient civilizations, including the Aztecs and Incas. In fact, amaranth was so important to the Aztecs that it was used in religious ceremonies. When Spanish conquistadors arrived, they banned amaranth cultivation in an attempt to suppress indigenous culture. But the plant never disappeared. It continued to grow wild, and traditional communities continued to harvest it. Today, amaranth is making a comeback as a superfood. The leaves can be cooked like spinach or added to soups and stews. The seeds can be popped like tiny popcorn, ground into flour, or cooked into porridge. Amaranth is gluten-free, highly nutritious, and incredibly resilient. If you find amaranth growing on your property, you've discovered a plant that sustained entire civilizations. It's a gift from the past, still growing freely today. Number 14. Shepherd's purse is a small plant with heart-shaped seed pods and delicate white flowers. It grows in disturbed soil, gardens, and lawns. The name comes from the shape of its seed pods, which resemble the small pouches shepherds once carried. This plant has been used medicinally for thousands of years. Traditional herbalists valued shepherd's purse for its ability to slow bleeding and support women's health. It contains compounds that help constrict blood vessels, which is why it was historically used to treat minor wounds. In Chinese medicine, shepherd's purse is called ji chai and has been used to support eye health and reduce inflammation. The young leaves are edible and have a mild, peppery flavor similar to mustard greens. In some Asian cuisines, shepherd's purse is still harvested and sold in markets as a spring vegetable. You can add young shepherd's purse leaves to salads, soups, or stir-fries. The flavor is subtle and slightly tangy. While it's not as nutrient-dense as some other plants on this list, it offers variety and has a long history of traditional use. Shepherd's purse is a reminder that even the smallest, most overlooked plants often carry wisdom that's been passed down through generations. The final plant on this list is dock, a tall, robust plant with broad leaves and reddish-brown seed stalks. There are several varieties of dock, including curly dock and yellow dock. All of them have been used for food and medicine. Dock leaves contain iron, vitamin C, and vitamin A. The roots, particularly of yellow dock, have been used in traditional herbal medicine to support liver function and digestion. Dock root contains compounds called anthraquinones, which have mild laxative effects and were historically used to relieve constipation. Dock grows almost everywhere, from gardens to roadsides to fields. It's nearly impossible to kill, which speaks to its resilience. Young dock leaves can be cooked like spinach, though they should be consumed in moderation due to their oxalic acid content. Older leaves become too bitter and tough to eat. In European folk medicine, dock was considered a blood purifier. It was believed to help the body eliminate toxins and restore balance. Dock root tea is still used by some herbalists today for gentle detoxification. Dock is the kind of plant that demands respect. It's strong, persistent, and packed with minerals. It grows where other plants won't, providing nutrition even in difficult conditions. It's a fitting conclusion to this list of powerful, misunderstood plants. These 15 plants have been growing quietly around us, often dismissed as weeds, yet each one carries a story of survival, nourishment, and healing. For thousands of years, human beings lived in close relationship with these plants. They knew which leaves to pick in spring, which roots to dig in fall, and which flowers to dry for winter teas. That knowledge never truly disappeared. It simply became buried beneath lawns and modern conveniences. But the plants remained, patiently waiting to be recognized again. They grow abundantly because they're adapted to thrive alongside human activity. In many ways, they've chosen to stay near us, offering their gifts freely to anyone willing to see their value. Nature doesn't make mistakes. These plants grow where they do for a reason. And once you begin to recognize them, your backyard transforms into something entirely different. It becomes a garden of forgotten superfoods, a living pharmacy, and a connection to the wisdom of those who came before us. Now I'd like to hear from you. Which of these plants surprised you the most? Have you been pulling out purslane or dandelions without realizing their value? Or maybe you already knew about some of these and have been harvesting them for years. Leave a comment below and share your experience. If you found this information valuable, consider subscribing to this channel. There's so much more to discover about the plants that grow around us, the forgotten knowledge that still matters, and the simple ways we can reconnect with the natural world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.